Not that again. Why are the notes? What do they say? Hello! My name is Tony Spruce, and we are back at the harbor. Well, last time we were quite busy finishing up all these buildings with a proper interior, as well as dealing with those villagers. You know, breeding them, bringing them over into their stalls, make sure they all have the correct jobs, which was quite a handful. But finally, that's done. And even though the buildings look rather complete and neat, the surroundings are still a little bit plain if you ask me. So we certainly have to add more details around this place. And another area that is a little bit plain is the water. As there so far is only one ship, which is a stunning centerpiece, of course, don't get me wrong on that, but we certainly need a few more vessels around. And last but certainly not least, we also have a project on the plans involving those. And that will have to do with our clock tower, so you certainly want to stick around for that. But first of all, we have a little bit of trading to do. You see, we have this awesome mending villager, but we don't have any emeralds so far. So we certainly need to change that, right? Hello, friend. Oh, you both actually trade paper, that's interesting. But we're gonna start with this guy, of course. As you see, mending for 22 emeralds, which is... I don't think it's a cheap trade, but for an enchantment that powerful, very well worth the price. Right? Alright, we need more emeralds, and I think first of all, we will go to the farmer down here, which we actually cured, so we have a little bit of a discount, or quite a good discount, to be honest. So now we have enough to get our first mending book. Oh, and we need a book, of course. Derp. Alright, let's try that again, shall we? Mending. Awesome. More levels. Awesome. Power 4. Which is also not a bad trade, as we can combine that to get power 5. But okay, that's enough trading for now, as we have lots of work to do, don't we? And for the second vessel in the water, I think it would be kinda right to not have it directly docked to the port, but rather a little bit out into the ocean, and also have it in the opposite direction of this one. So I don't know, maybe when it starts around here? So the nose would be pretty much here, and then it would extend further to the back. So with the position sorted out, why not jump right into the time lapse? Enjoy! And as you can see behind me, the port's already looking much more lively. With the 2 new ships we've added, let me show you around. First of all, we have this kind of medium-sized merchant ship, which is called Mariner, which compared to our big vessel is of course quite small, but still has some storage space. A nice brightly turquoise colored sail, which of course goes perfect with the market hall, so that might indicate that it's actually a supply ship for those villagers, resupplying them with all the goods they get from overseas. Of course, we have the ship's wheel, or what we imagine to be a ship's wheel, as, you know, small roundish things are always kind of difficult in Minecraft, and we even have some hidden storage. Just worked out that way, and I think that's nice. And then we also have a small ship, which is generally of the same design, just shorter. And as you can see, in a completely opposite color scheme. While this is oak with some dark oak contrast, this is the other way around. Once again with some secret storage, ship's wheel, only 2 barrels this time, as really there isn't any more space, and with a wonderful name Bertha underneath the flag on the back. And with that, It's also finally time to name our big ship, isn't it? All these episodes, she just laid her without a name, and we can't have that. And this ship will from now on be called Juliet. But besides all these ships and also these little boats I scattered around, there is also this. And I don't know. Don't ask me what this is supposed to be or why it is here. I just got carried away. And let's leave it at that. But I did connect it up to the pathway with quite a dramatic staircase, and there are no glowberries here. That's a shame. But with all these distractions aside, oh, there are some glowberries. We should finally do what's pretty much the main task for today, and that is to decorate this area. Hi dude, how's it going? You know, having some leaves hanging down here I think would look good, right? Yeah, I love that. I also don't want to overdo it, as this place is not supposed to, you know, look run down or anything like that. But a little bit of greenery surely does not hurt. Why is that block connected? Uh-huh, that's what I thought. Get out of here. Okay, where is it? Somewhere up there. And then I think we just want to have a few barrels scattered around and stuff like that. One of the issues, of course, is that these are all half slabs, so we cannot directly place barrels. But you know, as barrels are pretty much spruce wood from the color, it should work to make it something like that. Yeah, I think that works. If you don't look too exactly, then it's okay. So don't look too closely, then we are fine. Also want to have another patch of stuff back here. Also here some leaves might look good. Of course we have to be careful so that zombies can't come in from that end. I mean, it's totally open on the other side, but you know, still. Hi sir, how's it going? Inspecting my work here, I see. Oh no, that's... Here we go. We can of course also scatter a few custom crates around, if you know what I mean. For example, maybe some water barrels. So we can fill that up with water. And you know, maybe there's fish inside or something like that. Could imagine. Then also add some regular chests to the piles. Oh, maybe up here. Maybe also some open crates. You know, maybe for transporting animals or stuff like that. Could put some chickens in there. I mean, they could just wander out unless we close it, of course. And why not have a pile of wool to the side? As of course the shepherd sells that stuff, I think that makes sense that some of it might just be laying around. And maybe let's also have her exotic delivery of wood. Like these warped stems. I think they would go perfectly here. Yeah, I think that adds a certain something. And use the rails maybe. Or, you know, strapping them down. So they are secure. Perfect. Then we can also scatter a few pots around. Just for a little bit of greebling. And then maybe have a few barrels here. You know, at the same time I also don't want to overdo it. But I think a couple, you know, opposite to the villagers would make sense. Yeah, perfect. Right? Not that again. Why are the notes? What do they say? Their fiery eyes. That's ominous. To free the world. What in the... Okay, they're all looking at me like I lost my mind. Okay, one thing's for sure. These guys all can't even write. So it can't be them. There's only one of the villagers that would be capable for such stuff. Yes, you librarian. Do you know anything about these notes? Other than you would purchase them from me. Are you? No? Okay, they're... I see. Okay, they're talking about it. Maybe... Yeah, what? No. Okay. You know, that's bad. The fiery eyes to free the world. I don't know what that means, what that's all about, but it doesn't sound good. That's for sure. But what would this world even need to be freed of from? It is free. You know, all these villagers are free. Kind of. I don't know, are the villagers plotting something against me? Or am I supposed to do something? I really have to think about it, maybe take some research, but before we dive too deep into all this nonsense, we still have the clock tower to do. So maybe we should, you know, focus on that and forget about these strange messages for a while, because I'm pretty sure they don't mean any harm, right? Yeah. Surely not. Maybe. You see, the issue with the clock tower is that we have no proper way of accessing it. So I thought, maybe don't use that space as, you know, live-in space at all, but rather put something in there that we can remotely control. Like... You know, like that for example. And in particular, I thought about some note blocks. You know, target blocks, redstone torch. As this is of course a vertical space, bringing them in there is a little bit tricky, or we don't have too much control about the timings as we would have in a big wide area. But with redstone torches it works nonetheless. So let me get up there first. Bit of the tricky part. Ow! Alright, here we of course have the target block. And the first redstone torch. And if we now test it... Of course the sound is now quite delayed, as this redstone torch is of course on by default. And only when it switches off and on again, there comes a sound. That means that the second floor will go off before it. We have to keep that in mind for the whole contraption, of course. So how this is gonna work is, since of course each and every redstone torch reverts the signal, is that first the second, the fourth and the sixth are gonna start, and after them the first, the third and the fifth row or floor, however you wanna call it, will sound their notes. And the trickiest part for me now is of course to tune them so that it sounds somewhat pleasantly. Maybe I should get a note sheet that actually explains how often I have to punch them to get a certain note, you know? That might help. Well. After a lot of fiddling about with the note blocks and using the little bit that I remember from my music theory lessons, we have now this. Ah, wonderful. I know, awesome. But if you say, you know, Tony, that is a clock tower. Why are there music notes in there? What is actually supposed to be in there is a big bell. Don't you worry, because we also have this. And I love how the trapdoors are automatically closing after it. Maybe let's hear this for one more time, shall we? This project has really inspired me to do more note block stuff in the future. After all, you're not only limited to note blocks, but you can also use bells, and of course the sounds of doors or trapdoors, and create a whole symphony of stuff, which of course is a little bit tricky and needs a lot of figuring out and a little bit of music mastery, but we can do that. But for now, I think we've reached the end of this episode, as it was quite a productive one if you ask me. First of all, we started out at the water with adding new vessels to our fleet, then decorating the area with lots of bushes, barrels, crates and all kind of random things around. Did a lot of villager trading. Of course, I also got the bells from one of the villagers, as you cannot craft them, which I relearned today. And last but certainly not least, we built the heart of the clock tower, you might wanna call it. And next episode, well, I think we have to do something about those messages. I'll have a good think about it and we're just gonna have to do something. But all that has to wait for next episode. For this one, I thank you so much for watching. It was a very fun episode to record. I hope you had fun too watching it. If you did, why not leave a like to show me your appreciation? Or leave any suggestions, ideas in the comments down below. And if you want to see how this crazy adventure continues, then make sure you are subscribed to my channel to never miss out. Thank you all so much for your support. It really helps me out a lot. But most importantly, I hope you had fun. And I hope I'll see you next time. Take good care. Bye!